Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Call Haloyim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakah Kodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth, so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Aqua that's keeping the faith and the work. Shall keep at it. It's your brother Abai coming at you with more precepts. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. It says, "And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other powers, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." All right, so Yahweh Shai basically allowed us to enter into the curse, and the portion, or the curse is rather, and the curse is one portion of it is we will be scattered amongst all of these nations, right? And in doing so, it would take a toll on our mental, right? We would lose all knowledge of self, and it would be replaced, meaning our mentality would be replaced with something made up. Whether that made up mentality is something called Black, African American, or Hispanic, or Puerto Rican, or Jamaican, or Haitian, or Indian. It's made up, right? And with that brings about a certain level of distress and a certain level of oppression mentally that will not be able to be shaken, right? It would linger over us like a dark cloud, and a lot of our people experience that on a day-to-day basis because of these curses, right? Whether you are a male dealing with a woman that operates according to this world, right, or whether you're a woman that that deals with a man that operates according to this world, or whether both of y'all operating according to this world, either way it goes, it brings a certain level of stress and mental distress, right, and hopelessness, to be real. That's why the majority of the Most High's people occupy the club scene, because they party to get away from the stress of life. That's why the majority of the Most High's people turn to drugs, right? Because this world is real on us, right? I mean, we have nowhere to turn, no form of relief from the oppression, because Script says we will be dealing with this. I'm talking about day and night, always, right? That's why it says no man shall buy thee, meaning we will not get out of this situation. So a lot of our people try to escape through different means, right? But let me finish this out. Verse 65 says, "And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind." Right? That's a part of the curses, right? Mental issues in this place, right? But the only thing that's gonna get our people out of that state of being is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But unfortunately, the majority of the Most High's people will never get out of that state of being, right? The majority of the Most High's people will operate with rage on their mind, and they won't know how to release it. They'll operate in depression and won't know how to find joy, right? And like I stated earlier, they'll operate in hopelessness and won't be able to find hope, right? Because all of those things come with knowing Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, right? Verse 66 says, "And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. Right? That come with the struggle. So many people are wondering how they gonna pay this and pay that because of the oppressor, who the Most High said you will have to go to and want of all things. Make sure that your life is hell. He makes sure that you have less. He makes sure that you have to work 10 times hard as himself in order to make it in this place. And a lot of our people just don't have that in them, right? They have the mentality to work hard, and they have the drive to provide. They have the ambition to want to be better, and they have the talent to do so. But this world is something else, man. This world we living in is something else, right? It's designed to break us. Facts, right? Verse 67, it says, in the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. Right? And a lot of that comes from your own people, because a lot of our oppression comes from our own people that won't allow us to be good. Right? A lot of times you can't be good in this place without facing criticism, right? Without facing a faulty claim of being weak. A lot of people in this world take kindness for weakness, when in actuality, some people are just kind people, right? But that's a part of this world that we live in. And like I said, it does something to the mental, right? How many children start off innocent, but by operating in this world in their day-to-day and going through trials and tribulation, leave their innocence and come into basically the pseudo mindset that I spoke of earlier. And that's a mindset made up for destruction. Destruction of self and destruction of nation. Right? I'm going to go to the book of Lamentations. Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 7. It says, our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. That word borne means carried. We have carried our forefathers' iniquities, and in this world we paying for it. Right? It says, servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. Right? Our people don't understand that. Yes, this world says you're nothing. This world calls you less than. That's why they put the label black on you. That's why they call you everything outside of what Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai calls you. Right? It's to create a mentality of less than, because your oppressor understand that they are underneath you. Right? And you'll be surprised how many of the Most High's people that are so accustomed to being called less than and so accustomed to being called nothing take offense to that statement. You are better than the surrounding nations. You just don't know it because you're operating in the curses. You are choosing this world over the word of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, which tells you you are a peculiar people unto the Lord thy God. But your oppressor tell you that's preposterous for you to even fathom yourself as being anything other than a nigga. Right? Not understanding that you calling yourself nigga is really putting spirits on yourself. It's putting that spirit of depression on you. It's putting that spirit of hopelessness on you, because you're not operating in the correct spirit. The spirit that was created in you before this world began. Right? But these servants that are ruling over us, they love you being black. They love you being Hispanic and Puerto Rican. They love you being Haitian and Jamaican. They love you being Indian, because as long as you are those things, you are looking up to your oppressors. You are looking up to servants that are supposed to be beneath you. Right? Let me go to the book, back to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 29. It says, "And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee." All right? The majority of the Most High's people are oppressed. Even if you done found a way to somehow, make some loot in this place, at the end of the day, you cannot be your whole self and obtain that wealth. You got to give up a piece of you. Right? Right? And I say you make it without giving up a piece of you. You full-fledged you, and you making money. They make sure to remind you of your status in this place. Whether it be you cashing a check at a bank and they don't believe that you make that amount of money, or whether it be the police pulling you over and you getting treated as the top killer on the planet, strictly because of what you look like. All right? Our people are oppressed and they don't know it because of money. Right? Either way it goes, man, this is not your place of rest. And the majority of your people are dealing with some real deal mental issues. Right? And it stems from these curses. It stems from us not operating in our righteous spirit, meaning us not operating in our righteous mind. Right? Let me go back to Lamentations. Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 15, it says, "The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning." Right? Now that's not literally talking about, us not being able to dance. It's us in our best estate. We're not there. Because what did we read earlier? Servants are ruling over us. You are supposed to be ruling this earth, so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, and so-called Native American man, all of so-called Negro descent, and all our brethren around the world. But we aren't there, and we haven't been there in quite a while. Right? So the righteous joy of our heart is ceased. The righteous joy of our heart is understanding who we are and knowing our place in this world. Our dance is turned in the morning. Right? Our righteous way of living is oppression. Now, right? But when we were in our righteous estate, it was a life of royalty. Right? A life of being wisdom to these nations based off of these laws, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai blessed us with. Right? Let me see. Let me go to 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 13. It says, "But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, right? That ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Right? Only a remnant of the Most High's people are promised to wake up and see this world for what it really is, and have hope that one of these days the kingdom that they're involved in will cease and their righteous kingdom will rise. But for the majority of the Most High's people that sleep, 9 times out of 10 you operating in hopelessness, because your day consists of waking up, going to somebody else's establishment, making them rich, putting up with all kinds of hell on the way to there and on the way back, and doing it all over again almost every day for almost the rest of your life. That's hopelessness, man. That's nothing to look forward to. That's why so many of the Most High people break their neck to try to go on vacations, which really ain't vacations, because you basically saving up money to spend that money and give it right back to these same people that you making rich in the first place. We own nothing in this place. We have no means of escape. We have no home to go to. We have no person to call and say, well, we being treated unjust in this place. Can you please stand up to this government on our behalf? We have none of that. We are literally at the mercy of our enemies. And that's a level of hopelessness that no one can understand but us. That's a mental beat down, basically, man, on a day-to-day basis. Right? And like I said earlier, man, that's why a lot of our people choose these escapes, these cheap escape routes with, drugs, alcohol, club, or sleeping around. It's just something to make them feel good. All right? But at the end of the day, the hopelessness, the oppression, right, it will come to an end. Whether you believe it or not, it will. Right? Because of who you are. Let me go to the book of Isaiah chapter 44. Right? Isaiah 44:1, it says, yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. You are a chosen people. That's why your life's so hard. And that's why the surrounding nations, that's why their lives are so gravy. Right? You fell off. Our fathers have sinned, and we have borne their iniquity. We have carried their iniquity. We paying for the sins of our fathers. And according to the curses, whenever we fall off, we'll become the tail and they'll become the head. But when we back up, we'll become the head and they'll become the tail. Right? It says, thus saith Yahweh that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. For I will pour water upon him that is thirsty, and floods upon the dry ground. I will pour my spirit upon thy seed, and my blessing upon thine offspring. And they shall spring up as among the grass, as willows by the watercourses. That's a promise from Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, that this oppression will cease, and it will cease because Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai chose our forefathers. So the same way we have carried our forefathers' sin is the same way we carried our forefathers' promise. We just got to go through the hard times, right? Endure until the end and be saved. And as far as these surrounding nations that's living it up off of our oppression, right? That's living their best life off of our downfall. Let's go to the book of 2nd Maccabees. 2nd Maccabees in the Apocrypha, chapter 7, and verse 31. And thou that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews shalt not escape the hands of power. Right? Be not deceived, power is not mocked. As a man soweth, so must he also reap. You will get that oppression back. You will get that ceased joy back. You will get that hopelessness back. All right? It's promised. Matter of fact, let me get that right quick. Let me see. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right? That's a promise from Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Everything that we going through and have been going through, they gonna get it back. All right? That's why they so bent on you holding on to that title, Black, African American, and Hispanic, because they know the more of us that wake up, the closer they are to seeing our life. But it's going to be way worse. Right? Yahweh Shemel Shai said we going to rule them with a rod of iron. Only thing we not doing to these folk is all that foo-foo extra stuff. We ain't doing all that because that's wicked. We ain't getting down with all that wickedness. But hard bondage, y'all gonna get that back. Right? So with that being said, man, to the Most High's people that are dealing with the stress of this world and it's taking a toll on your mental and you feel like you ready to break, man, hold on. Right? Don't give in to this world. You keep on keeping on, young brother and young sister. Keep on keeping on, man. Right? Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, we almost out this thing. Alright, so with that, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Ratazah, these precepts in this video were edifying. Call Haloyim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakah Kodash. Shalom Yashala.